a month of Cardrama, but the Iagon team are still getting it done. Keep watching to find out why I'm still bullish on Iagon. Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video focusing on Iagon's latest big announcements. I also wanted to touch on some of the Cardrama happening in the last month and informing everyone on what we can do about it and how we can respond. So firstly, I wanted to share that Fireblocks have posted on their page on X the iagon and Fireblocks collaboration, right? So before I get into this, who is Fireblocks? So Fireblocks is a fund manager and they are currently valued at 8 billion USD. Their customers include 2,400 enterprises. They have facilitated $10 trillion in transactions and they have 550 million wallets secured, right? So they're no small fish. They're a big player. And who are their customers? Their customers include fintechs, exchanges, traders, banks, Web3, and startups. So now that you know who Fireblocks is and what they're about and who their customers are, let's look at their collaboration with iagon. So using iagon's Insights API, Fireblocks built a stack that gives approved Fireblocks customers the ability to operate with ADA and Cardano native tokens. So just remember, all of those customers that I just mentioned before, they now get to engage with ADA and Cardano native tokens, right? So what are they engaging with? Cardano native tokens and ADA transfers, deposits, withdrawals, and balance querying. ADA staking and governance participation. These enterprises, these businesses, all their customers, banks, whoever, they can stake and they can participate in governance. Real-time webhook notifications for incoming ADA and CNT transactions with CNT-enriched payloads, a dedicated desktop application for managing ADA and CNT operations through Fireblocks, and unified SDK and developer tooling for programmatic access. So big stuff. These big enterprises, banks, institutions, through Fireblocks and iagon can now access the Cardano world. So just remember, members of the Pentad haven't done this. It was all iagon using their own funding. So iagon have connected the institutional world to the Cardano network. This is massive news, and this will create the foundations for the next bull run. When everyone is hyping, when everyone's investing, when everyone's bullish, we now have more access to further investments from larger pools of money, right? Institutions, the Web2 world has more money than your day-to-day investor. That's where the big money is, enterprises and institutions. So this is big, exciting news for the whole ecosystem, not just iagon. This is big, exciting news for all of Cardano. Next, iagon made a video talking about Statur. So what is Statur? It is a reputation model for the Cardano ecosystem designed to make positive participation more visible, measurable, and rewarding. So if you're someone who has token X, right, and you're someone who shorts it all the time, you're just there to make profit and you're just there to muck around with the token and you're not a long-term holder, you're not someone supporting the project and doing positive things, you're going to have a lower score versus someone who's doing all those positive things, right? So if you're someone who's holding, if you're someone who just constantly buys, if you're someone who's staking, if you're someone who's a node operator, all of these things, these are positive contributions to a project and project token, and you will have a higher reputation score. So this rewards those people. So projects might turn around one day and say, hey, if you've got this certain level of a positive reputation score, you're going to earn this amount of staking rewards. And if you've got a lower level of reputation, you're going to earn lower staking, etc., etc. iagon made a video about Statur and they explain it in heaps more detail than I ever could. Nils is a latest recruit of theirs, and I think he does an awesome job narrating and explaining exactly what Statur is. So I highly recommend watching this video to learn more about it. So I think Statur is an incredible tool for Cardano. At the end of the day, I think there are mostly good people in the ecosystem, but there is still a fair bit of foul play, and the reputation scores get to show you who's who and who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. So just a little bit of extra information. The US Navy actually contacted Nav about Statur, and they just wanted to learn a bit about it because they were implementing something themselves that was somewhat similar, and they just wanted to learn about it and maybe fine tune their version of it for their own implementation of it in the US Navy. Now, what that implementation is, no one knows. Now, this isn't a partnership. It was just more so like a chat and just getting some tips with no like financial incentive or gain from it. So it's not a partnership. It was just more so like a query. But this is still impressive in itself because it shows the level of eyes that are on iagon, right? So first we have Worth. They've partnered with iagon and their collaboration is coming out soon. And it was when Fireblocks learnt about the Worth collaboration that they wanted in, right? They weren't interested in Cardano. They weren't interested in talking to the members of the Pentad. As soon as Fireblocks heard about what was happening between iagon and Worth, they wanted a slice of that, right? So there are big eyes on the iagon team, and it's only a matter of time before things change. So as I said, there's been an absolute circus in the Cardano space in the last month, with members of the Pentad and the Cardano cabal butting heads with NAV, right? It's been all out and visible for everyone to see. So at the end of the day, Childish Charles and Fudster Phil and the rest of the cabal, they've started butting heads with NAV because NAV has started asking a few questions on what's going on with the IOG proposals. They made 9 proposals, some of them not super necessary, and also most of them asking for too much funding. You can look it up yourself. You can look into it, read into it, and see what's going on and make your own decisions. I'm not going to sort of go into too much detail. So pretty much NAV is a D-rep outside of iagon, and he was just asking some questions and wanted some answers before he voted on the proposals proposed by IOG. In response to that, all hell broke out. Charles went on an all-out rant. Fudster Phil, he was out there doing his thing every week like he does. And the thing is, this has been an ongoing thing for the last few months. And, you know, at first people were like, oh, Nav is just being a bit negative. Why is he questioning things? But then as time went on and more of this happened, people were turning around and being like, you know what? There's some truth to this. Nav is right. Nav's onto something. And I reckon this most recent circus has been the change that Cardano has needed. People are now realizing that we shouldn't be accepting everything from the Pentad as gold. We should be asking questions. And I think more people are on Nav's side now than Charles and the rest of the Pentad side. People are realizing what's going on. People are realizing that there are some drains in the system. People are realizing that some projects aren't profitable. Some projects are asking for too much money. Some projects are just straight up liquidity drains and aren't good for the ecosystem. Pretty much people have had enough. I've noticed this in the comments. I've seen it. People are changing. Their perspective is changing. And if you look back, it was Cardano Whale. We all miss him. He was a great leader in the Cardano space and was a net positive. Then it's Dave. Charles decided to attack him because he was asking some questions. And now Nav. When's enough enough? There's a common denominator here, right? And it's not those guys. What can we do as an ecosystem? Well, you can look at who your D-reps vote for. You can look at where you're staking. You can move your funds out of projects that are affiliated and vote favorably for the associated Pentad members who are saying negative things and who are controlling things. This is a decentralized ecosystem. iagon didn't need Pentad members' permission to get institutional adoption for the Cardano ecosystem, right? Didn't need their permission. They did it, right? And we can do that too. It's a decentralized ecosystem. We as holders can move our funds. Money talks, okay? Move your funds into places that hurts them the most. They will learn. They will learn very quickly, hey, people are disagreeing with us. But what happens is people are unfortunately a bit lazy with their D-rep allegations. They default click whatever. They don't want to think about it. It is a bit annoying. So choose your D-reps wisely. Look at who they're voting for. Do you agree with that or do you disagree? And do you often agree with them or do you often disagree? If you often disagree with them, maybe change because they're not representing your values and your thoughts. So recent events, I think, have led to a change in perspective in the Cardano ecosystem, but that's not good enough. We need to put it into action. We can think about it, we can talk about it, but put it into action. Change your D-reps. So what else can we do? So iagon have got an institutional integration for the ecosystem. They're also leading the way with other tier 1 exchange listings. And don't forget, iagon and Nav have assisted other projects with tier 1 exchange listings. Now, these are all things that the Pentad haven't done, right? They've been lazy with it. They've been prioritizing Midnight, right? We'll get Midnight done first, then the others will follow. What about all the Cardano native tokens prior to Midnight's announcement? Cardano native tokens and DeFi have existed for a very long time before Midnight. They were left in the dark for a very long time. So something else that you can do is contribute to the iagon loan. They're not asking for a proposal fund. They're not asking for a free handout. They're asking for a loan and they will pay you back. iagon has such a great track record in paying their loans back, and not just back, but they pay them back early. And finally, I'm not a financial advisor, right? I'm just some idiot online just talking and sharing my thoughts. But I personally believe that right now is an incredible time to invest in iagon. You look at their USD dollar valuation, you look at the charts. I personally believe it is an incredible value buy at the moment. You look at the revenue that is on the way. You look at what they're doing with Worth. You're looking at how Fireblocks chose them, not members of the Pentad. I personally believe that right now, iagon is a generational wealth generating buy. You look at their dollar valuation, you look at their market cap, you look at the fact that Worth have chosen to work with them. You look at the fact that Fireblocks have chosen to work with them and not members of the Pentad. Is it too obvious to me? Is there something I'm missing? I'm buying more, I'm holding, and I'm not going anywhere. And I know a lot of the true holders are doing so as well. And I've noticed after recent events, there are more and more new faces in Discord learning and investing. I personally believe the recent price action has been due to weak hands who haven't done their research, or members of the cabal who have just dumped on iagon after their Charles Daddy was offended and got upset. So do your own research, look into iagon, look at what they're doing, look at what's coming up, and look at the revenue that's on the way. And the numbers will speak for themselves. So I hope you've learned something from this video. If you have, please follow me on X and subscribe to me on YouTube. And if you have any questions or feedback, please drop a comment and a like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.